Hello, this is a Bechstein Model 7 upright piano that's 138 centimetres tall, made in 1911. It's a piano that we're always trying to source and manage to get 2 or 3 a year usually, and this one we've just finished refining and been newly French polished as well. So just want to play the piano obviously and look at some of the features on it. So it's newly French polished, there's no fading on it whatsoever. We often find when we go to someone's house that the lid's been kept up, so that part is going to be darker, obviously, and over many years that becomes darker where it's not been exposed to the light. So if you do have a piano, especially if it's newly polished like this, it's good to try and put the lid down sometimes and then up, or maybe when you play it up when you're playing it and down. Vary it basically. The music desk also can make lines on here, as it's very common, and indeed we don't always fully repolish the piano, but in this case it's immaculate, so that's very encouraging. That's got good legroom, as a lot of tall German pianos have. 62 centimetres, taller than say a Yamaha U1, more legroom than that, and lower pedals too, is about 7 centimetres. Normally about 7.5 on a new piano. It's got ivory keys, and I think they're immaculate. I don't think there's ever been any chips on them. Very slightly yellowed, but I think that matches in with the piano nicely anyway. And we just buffed them so they won't attract the dirt. The piano's not been too much used, so we've managed to preserve the original hammers and strings. The hammers are a bit tight. We've repinned all of them actually, and in fact all the centre pins on the piano have been changed because they were slightly tight. So now obviously they've got to be tight so they don't move sideways, but not too tight so they tend to bind. So it's often the case in pianos, if they've not been used a lot, that they do get a little bit stiff. So that's something we've done, and we've managed to preserve the original tone because they are original strings and hammers, and as you can see the hammers are not terribly worn. My voice will sound different at the moment because I've got it to emphasise the piano sound rather than my voice sound. It's got a powerful top treble as well. That's a string that was put on a long time ago. I think it's galvanised, so that would be in the late 50s possibly, and is well matched, so it's not really a problem. I wouldn't expect any strings to break for the next 30, 40, 50 years. They're very stable, very well made pianos. Obviously that doesn't normally happen. Let's go down to the bass. On Bechstein's model 1 to 4 and 6 to 9, there's this extra repetition spring here. Hope you can pick it up on the video. Sorry, it's difficult to focus this, but if you watch the jack coming out, there we are, it pulls it back under. So the idea is to try and get it to repeat faster. There's some modern makers that are trying to do the same. It hooks onto this loop here, so you've got to get them all off to repin the piano. So it's quite a lot of work, but it's worth doing because the touch is excellent on these. You often find that because of that extra spring, it's been regulated so that the let-off is a bit far away from the string. But if you look here, you see the let-off, we've managed to get it same as you would on any other upright piano. So obviously it's got to come back and then check. It tends to check a bit earlier on this when you've got that repetition spring to make it work well. Those aren't quite checking the same place. Let's have a look. Yes, they are. Sorry, it's just the way the spring is operating. So we'll try and get those as refined as possible. Now, adjusting the let-off is a matter of getting this little button here so that it lets off as late as possible, and that gives you better control for soft playing. Now this is the thing that you have to adjust and turn. Now on older pianos these can seize up, so you normally heat them up so that you can free them off, and I'm just putting my tool down to adjust it here, so you can turn it backwards and forwards with this tool, and obviously turn it anti-clockwise it lets off later, and if you turn it clockwise it lets off sooner. So the idea is to get it as close as possible letting off, so that's just how close we managed to get this one. If it bounces around a bit and doesn't hit the string again, then that's not wrong. It's not catching the check, that's okay. The main thing is it doesn't hit twice, so you want to get it as close as possible without hitting twice. So the team have already done extensive work on the piano. One of the main jobs we did was to change the centre pins because they're a bit seized up as the piano hadn't been used that much in its lifetime, which is quite common. Some pianos are used a lot and some are not used much. And we've reweighted the keys here. They're a bit light, some of them, so we brought them down. So there are 50 grams is plus or minus 2 grams is what we are aiming for. So you can see all the work that we've had to do on the piano, and it's very refined now, but we're always going to refine pianos until they go out and make them as much like new pianos as we possibly can. Let's compare the tone of it with other pianos in stock. This is a new 1224ic upright. And a Steinway model c1911. And a Yamaha U3M 1980. So that's a Bechstein Model 7 upright piano, 138 centimetres tall, made in 1907. And it's a piano we're always trying to source, so delighted when we get one in. And in this case we've not been used very much at all. We've repolished the piano, we've done lots of refinement work to the action. So I believe it plays as well as a new piano. It feels different. The Bechstein touch is really second to none in my opinion. I really appreciate it. It's one of the things I like most about Bechstein uprights and grand pianos. They just play beautifully. Of course you can't hear the touch, but it's very smooth and very responsive indeed. Thank you very much for listening. If you're interested in the piano, please do write to us, info@robertspianos.com. If you'd like to try the piano out because you can't come in, then we do a scheme where you can try it out for 10 months and then pay the difference. Please look at our website and you'll find more details, and please do write to us if you would like to ask any questions.